Welcome to you, Scorpio. Big welcome to you. This is your tarot reading for the month of September. And I really hope that you get something useful from it. At this point, I normally say coming from the mountains of Java, but if you look at the picture, that isn't Indonesia at all, but the UK and Shrewsbury, where physically I probably will be in September, probably for some time, and probably without access to the internet. So I'm preloading content for you. Hopefully there won't be too much disruption, but stick around this channel to find out what's happening to me. But this is all about you. This isn't about me. I ought to say, it's a picture of Shrewsbury, the Quarry and St Chad's Church, both of which are very dear to me. St Chad's Church is where I was confirmed, where I became a server or altar boy. And while in Shrewsbury, I'll be attending Mass there or Holy Communion every Sunday, as well as going to Friday prayers at the Masjid. It is about you, and I really hope you get something from that. I sincerely do. And now we've been getting some interesting, if not rather dark readings during September, although often it's all's well that ends well, and certainly in yours I think it's that. If we look at the central card, the Ace of Cups, it's suggesting that the reading is all about love. Now normally I'd say this is a new love, but I'm not too certain that that's how I should interpret it. It certainly felt like a divine love, it felt like a wonderful love, but I'm not certain it is. In the recent past, bottom right hand corner, Queen of Cups, well, she's the Queen of Love. So there's certainly a love in your life. Now I don't know if this love ended or not, and there is a new love, but it doesn't show where it is, or whether or not you're sort of still with this person, but it's a bit off and on. Because the next card we have is the Eight of Swords, which is self-imposed restrictions. So it feels like you've been hurt in love and you're putting up barriers. But as I say, I'm not at all clear whether or not those are barriers within an existing love, or you lost a love and you're putting up barriers to new love. I'm not sure. The energy for the future is the Seven of Wands. That's you scoring some victories, but maybe people being jealous of those victories that you scored. We next have the Queen of Wands, who she impacts on the outcome. Queen of Wands is a lovable queen. She flits around a lot and flits around people. Could be accused of using people. The energy that would prevent the outcome is the Nine of Swords, which is the card of nightmares. Now I'm sure that these nightmares are connected to love, but as I say, I'm just not sure if it's a new love or an existing love, or maybe an on and off love, you know. And the outcome is the King of Pentacles, and that's someone who's good with money. So I wonder if there's an interplay between sort of work-life balance here. Could that be it? As you can tell, I'm a bit at sea at the moment, so I'm going to have to unpack these, and I hope you'll stay around and listen to me unpacking them. If it's having some resonance, please like and make a comment, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell so that you don't miss future updates. And I just want to thank you in anticipation for that, Scorpio. You may well be asking, why from Java? What's important about tarot from Java? And the truth is, there is nothing so important about tarot from Java. Simply that here in Java we have many different spirits who will come to help in your tarot reading. It'll probably put a different reflection on things. For example, the spirits here are less likely to be concerned about love and finances, despite people in Java being every bit as interested in these things as the rest of us. But maybe the spirits are trying to tell us something else. Now I'll be using probably 2 decks, but out of 3 decks. So the first deck is Tarot Nusantara, the second deck is the Steampunk deck, and the third deck is the Light Visions Tarot. Tarot Nusantara is actually a new one to me, which I love, whereas the Light Visions I've struggled with as a result of the rendering. Although I think I'll grow into it, I will keep using it and coming back to it. You can see on all of them I'm using quite a lot of salt, and that's to clear the energy and the spirits from them, something that I do fairly regularly with my tarot. And I also, you'll see a number of Jimat there that I use just to bring a good energy to the tarot and to my reading. Perhaps the most important mystical object we use in Java is the kris, the curly knife that you can see that I've placed across both decks. Kris are very important for bringing the spirits to work on any object here in Java. And I call on the spirits of the Stiper Stones. I call upon Wild Edric and his wife, Lady Godia, to help me in shuffling the cards, in selecting the right cards, and interpret them for Scorpio. Now, this Ace of Cups, this is an energy that runs throughout it. It's often associated with new love, but I'm not sure I should read into it that way. I think we've got to read into it that it's about love. And therefore the entire reading looks as though it's about love. Could be about creativity, but I just don't think it is. I think it's actually about love. And I need to bear that in mind as I'm interpreting all the other energies that exist here. I'm not going to describe it. You know, I often say, well, it's a divine love, etc. But I think all it's doing here is telling me that this is a reading about love. Now, in your recent past, we have the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Love. So it fits, doesn't it? Given that it's the past, does it mean that this love has ended? I don't think it does. The distinct feeling I'm getting here is that this is something of an on and off love affair. That it goes on throughout the reading, and it is sort of on and off. I mean, there could be a new love, you know, the Ace of Cups does suggest that. But no, I think this is an on and off love. Now, that she's very compassionate, she's very caring, but she also, people mistake her compassion for weakness, and she does get exploited as a result. You look at her, she's dressed beautifully, she's sitting on that wonderful throne, with that cup outstretched on her arms. But she's on a seashore. I don't know if the tide's coming in or going out, but if it's coming in, that's a potentially dangerous position to be in. And I think you put yourself into those positions myself. And now your current energy is the Eight of Swords. This is self-imposed restrictions. This is barriers. So it does suggest you've been hurt in love. I mean, if it is an old love, the Queen of Cups, then you're putting up barriers and you're putting up boundaries which may prevent you from finding a new love. But as I say, I just feel this is like an on and off love affair that it's talking about. And you're aware that things aren't right and you're beginning to put up boundaries. Now, they are self-imposed boundaries. And if you look at her, well, yeah, she's behind those 8 swords, but she's also tied up and blindfolded. Again, we don't know if the tide is coming in or going out, but if it's coming in, that's very dangerous indeed. And if she was to take off that blindfold, she'd see a lovely village up there on the cliffs with a beautiful Hindu temple there. It might not be easy to get there, but she certainly ought to be moving on and moving towards those cliffs rather than staying on the seashore. And now your future energy is the Seven of Wands, and this is you scoring some victories. It doesn't mean to say that you're winning the war, but you're winning some battles. Is this with this love? Is this because you've put up boundaries? But you're annoying them, I think. Maybe making them jealous. You look at it, well, he's going across that stream or that beck with a wand, but he's right up there and people can see him and people may be that little bit jealous of him. Yeah, I think you found, if this is not a love affair, I think you found a way to deal with them. But actually you're just alienating them. It's not working. And I guess echoing this Seven of Wands, we now have the Queen of Wands. Now she's what impacts on the outcome, and I see the outcome as a good outcome for you. So the Queen of Wands is, she's a lovable character, but she knows how to use people, maybe even manipulate people. Now, if this is an on and off love affair, and if you do feel you've been abused, maybe you're the one that's using and abusing. But if you do feel it's an on and off love affair, and you've needed to set boundaries and you've needed to assert your authority, then this has to be a good sign, I'd say, providing it's not you who's engaging in the manipulated behaviour. You look at her, well, she's sitting in a finery on a throne, she's got her wand in her hand, so this is action, she's a woman of action. She's got a sunflower in the other hand, so that's saying that you're being somewhat blessed. There's a black cat, so it's as though it's fate. Yeah, maybe you've found a way of dealing with this troublesome on-off love affair. Now what would change the outcome, and I consider the outcome a good outcome, is the Nine of Swords. This is you having nightmares, you lying awake, worried about things. And I think you're worrying about the course of action you're taking, which, as I say, I actually see as a good course of action. I actually think you're doing the right things. So this is something that's in your mind, really, more so than a reality. You look at the card, she's up there, clearly awake at night, the 9 swords above her head. She's worried sick about it and can't sleep. So, there is a degree of, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right way to be doing things? And I think it is. I think you have to stop worrying is really what the message is. Now the outcome is the King of Pentacles. So this is a king who's very good with money. He's a king who's stable. He's a king who makes good investments. A king who knows what he's doing with money. Yeah, he's what can I say? Leadership, security, discipline, abundance. I wonder if this love has been affecting your ability to make money, or has been taking your money, wasting your money. I wonder if those are the barriers that you need to put down. I'm not sure, but this is a great card to have. The fact that you've been having nightmares suggests that they've got into your psychology, and maybe that had affected your ability to make money. But you look at him, he's a strong king, isn't he? Dressed beautifully, on a lovely throne. He's in the land of the Taraja in Sulawesi. He's got his orb in one hand and his pentacle, which means money, in the other. So a strong king that's all about money, it's a great ending. It's a great ending. But I think I need to make certain that I'm getting the right interpretation of all of this. Now, I guess there's many cards I could go for clarity on. But I'm going to go for clarity on the nightmares, because if I can understand those nightmares, then maybe it will tell me if I'm on the right track. And the first card we have is another Ace of Cups. So it is saying, well, yes, you're worried about love. So I think I'm right. It is an on and off love affair. The next card is the Six of Pentacles. This is telling you to move on from that love affair. Move on from that love affair and dump the baggage. Yeah. And then the final card is the Moon. You're frightened of the unknown. You're frightened of, you're fearful of the unknown. So you're probably fearful of ending this relationship, which isn't doing you any good. So the first card of clarity is the Ace of Cups again. Now remember, we're confirming why you're worried. So although the Ace of Cups is often about a new love, it could be creativity, I'm certain all it's telling us here is that you're worried about love. It's love that you're worried about. And I do feel that this is an on and off love affair. It's someone you've grown accustomed to. Somebody that feels familiar, but probably isn't doing you any good, and that's why you're worried. You're lying awake at night worrying about them, but somehow you don't quite feel you can get rid of them. And we now have the Six of Swords, isn't it? Six of Swords. This is a card of moving on. This is a card of dumping baggage. And I said this was the advice being given to you by the universe, but of course it isn't. It's confirming what you're lying awake about. You're lying awake worried about this love, and you don't know whether you should get rid of them. And if you remember, the outcome is the King of Pentacles, and it was the Queen of Wands that led to it. I'm not too certain the advice is get rid of them. I think this is just what you're worried about. And you look at the card, well, they're in a balloon, so they're moving away. They're going away, aren't they? Going away quite quickly. And of course, they'd need sandbags for it, so they'd have to throw the sandbags over the side, dumping the baggage. Yeah. Now, if you remember, I said that the Nine of Swords, this nightmares, this worry, was as much about your feelings and as much in your head as something tangible. Now, I'm not trying to say for 1 minute that the person that you have this on and off relationship with is necessarily good for you. But what you're most fearful of is the unknown. You're fearful, you're saying, well, if I leave them, I'm used to them. What am I going to get? What's my life going to be like? You're fearful of the unknown. You're probably fearful about what they're going to do next. Maybe you have good reason to have barriers and boundaries with them, but you're more worried about what's going to happen next than what has happened in the future, in the past. That's how I see it. Yeah, I don't think this spread tells us what you should actually do. This is only confirming what your worries and fears are. But I would say there's light at the end of the tunnel. So I think we ought to summarise for you now, Scorpio. Scorpio, this reading is all about love. I don't think it's a new love. I think it's an existing love. And I think it's a little bit tumultuous. It might be an on and off love affair even. But yeah, I think it's the same love. I don't think it's new. It could be, don't get me wrong. And I think you're somewhat mistrusting and fearful of this person that you're in love with. particularly over money issues. That's what I think it is. And you put up boundaries and you put up barriers, and things, you know, things haven't been going that well, but they start to. Because you learn how you can get what you want from this person. Now, I don't think you're being manipulative. I don't think you are for 1 minute. You're just learning how to deal with them. And of course, if it's somebody that, you know, spends money, then putting up some barriers, putting up boundaries so that they don't make off with everything is probably a good idea, isn't it? But it doesn't mean to say you've got to get rid of them. No. But it's worrying you. I mean, it's worrying you incredibly. It's worrying you incredibly. And what you're saying to yourself, well, what you're really worried about is the future. You're worried about how far this is going to go. You're worried about what they're going to do next. But, you know, I got the feeling that these are more worries, your worries, that are an objective view of what's really going on, objective view of the situation you're in. Yeah, I think it's about your fears more than anything. And let's face it, it keeps you awake at night. You really do worry about it. You don't know what you should do, but you're more fearful of the unknown than what really has happened. I mean, some things clearly have happened to make you like this, but you're more fearful of the unknown, and you're saying to yourself, how far will it go? And I think it's affected your ability to make money, but by setting boundaries, by learning to how to work with them, you are going to start making money again, and you're going to come into your own in terms of money and stability. Now, the cards don't give me a solution on what you should do with this person. But I've got to say, on balance, it feels like you found a way to work with them, and it feels like maybe you should stick with them despite all these concerns that you have. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed Tarot from Java as an addition to my channel, The Magic of Java. Please take a look at the other videos that I have on this channel about magic from Java, and I hope that you will become a subscriber. Now, if you want to hear your next tarot reading, hit the button, and that will inform you of when I publish new readings. I'm certainly going to do a reading for every month, but maybe I will try them a bit more frequently, say a mid-month reading, and maybe also some special readings. But above all, thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you, and enjoy Java.